Hey, everybody. We're here in Toronto, home of Blue Jays, Raptors, Maple Leafs, and Canadian psychic Robert Lindsy Milne. That's me. Welcome to my side of the crystal ball. You know, at the beginning of every show, I always say, got a great show for you tonight, or a fascinating one, or great at this, one at that. Well, tonight, I really do have a fascinating show. Well, they all are, but tonight, I have a special one. Could you imagine going back in time and meeting one of the most important mentors of your life? To go back and connect with and re-talk all the things that mentor shared with you and a whole lot more? Tonight, my guest on my side of the crystal ball is someone that had this kind of an impact on me. George Raynault. He is going to be in the experts chair, and he's also going to be the main event. I also have a WWRS that's pretty fascinating, but certainly George and George's stories are the man. It's so exciting to go back and remember George Raynault. He was a pioneer in the developing of the new age here in Canada and in different parts of the US and the world. Before we start, I do have a couple of requests. You know, these ones, the call to action. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and comment. Comments are so very, very important. It gives us more energy on the site. Comment and then subscribe. And subscriptions are complimentary, meaning free. And once again, that gives us more energy, more listeners, and more prominence in the ratings. You can also find us pretty much anywhere you're listening and viewing your podcast. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, you know, I'm still doing readings and life coaching and areas like that. You can find me on my website, www.robertlindsymilne.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Yeah, we're just getting that one down too. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. So now, without further ado, let us start this show with WWRS. For tonight's WWRS, I had a lot of ideas, each one of them valuable, important, interesting, fascinating, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm going to stick with the theme tonight. We're going to be talking with George Raynault, a great mentor to me, and his organization, the New Age Center, Mind Awareness. There was a fellow there too, like me, but different. His name was Michael Blake Reed. And Michael was the most amazing channeler. There's 12,000 hours of recordings of Michael while he was in a trance-like state. And the entities that spoke through Michael were called the Evergreens. I decided tonight to share some of the Evergreens teachings because the Evergreens teachings had a big impact on the growth of the Canadian New Age era and the way our group developed and evolved. This is Michael Blake Reed, the Evergreens, speaking through Michael Blake Reed, sharing the living philosophy of the Evergreens. I am the result of me. I am more. I am never less. I discover newness about me each and every day. I act. I act because inaction is decay. I speak because the words need to be said. I am the right person. I have no enemies, only friends I have yet to meet. I have no masters but myself. I surround myself in eternity. Eternity I command. I exist in the now, the past, the present, and the future. I have no limits, no bounds, no ends. And that is the philosophy, the living philosophy of the Evergreens. There are many, many interpretations, many, many ways of looking at it, all of them gentle, all of them positive, all of them pure. I would like to share with you my perception of the living philosophy from the Evergreens, and then I'll recite it one more time. Starting off with, I am the result of me. Everything that has ever happened to me in my life, every thought, every feeling, every action, everything that has ever occurred in my life has all come together, making me the being, the person, the man that I am. When I look at myself, I realize there's more to me than just who I am. I'm more than that. And I realize that I am more, I am never less. Every time I do something, teaches me something. Even if I make 3 steps forward and take 2 steps back, I still am more because I've never made that combination of steps before. I am more, I am never less. When I accept I am more, I am never less, I discover newness about me. Newness all about me, and newness about me. And when there's newness, I act. I act because inaction is decay. And when I act, I speak. I speak because the words need to be said. And when I act and when I speak, I am the right person. But in all of the universe, there is only one me. And how could I be anything else except the right person? And when I am the right person, I realize I have no masters but myself. I follow my lead. I do and serve my master. I do. I have no masters, just me. I surround myself in eternity, eternity that I command. I have the visualization to see. I can see the future, the past, the present. I surround myself in eternity, eternity I command. I exist in the now, the past, the present, and the future. I have no limits, no bounds, no ends. Therefore, I am truly the result of me. And it never spiral, and it never stops spiraling upwards. So let me do it just one more time for you. I am the result of me. I am more, I am never less. I discover newness about me each and every day. I act because inaction is decay. I speak because the words need to be said. I am the right person. I have no enemies, only friends I have yet to meet. I have no masters but myself. I surround myself in eternity. Eternity I command. I exist in the now, the past, the present, and the future. I have no limits, no bounds, no ends. And I am truly the result of me. And it never stops spiraling upwards. And that, my dear friends, is what Robert has to say. I only have one guest tonight, George Raynault. And George can sit in the expert's chair, or he can be the main event, or he is sitting in the expert's chair because he's the main event. George Raynault goes back in my life many, many years, probably 48, 47 years, something like that. He was the founder of the Mind Awareness, the New Age Center. He was a teacher, philosopher, a leader, and a pioneer. George had a huge impact on the psychic world in Toronto and through all of Canada. He had a major impact in bringing in and birthing the age of Aquarius, the new era. George was a mentor to me. I worked beside him, near him, for 3 years at the Institute, the New Age Center. I was the psychic for I was the main psychic for the organization, and I was the front man that did the shows and psychic performances. He was a teacher. He taught all those around us new ways of thinking. Over the years, I've kept in touch with George, although we didn't do any work. Over the years, I've noticed that he had been speaking to me in a very different way than he did in those early days. And I realized just tonight what he's been doing is speaking to me as a peer. And so tonight I'm speaking to my mentor as a peer and as a friend. I'd like to introduce my friend, George Raynault. It was somewhere back, I think, in about 1975. I was invited to this party in a city just outside of Toronto called Mississauga. And there were a group of New Agers that I thought were weird, not that I wasn't. And they were weird. And I went to this party, and it was a turning point in the world of the psychics and new ways of thinking in Toronto and then Canada. And the person that was most influential at that meeting, and for many years in my life, was George Raynault. And just as a coincidence, George is here. It's 48 years later. George, welcome to my side of the crystal ball.
It's a new experience for me. I'm happy to be here.
We made it this far, my friend.
That's right.
So there you were at the party, and you met a bunch of people. What did that do to you? What happened to you at that party so many years ago?
Well, my background was I was teaching what was called mind dynamics, and the parent corporation went bankrupt. Nothing to do with my teaching stuff. It was selling cosmetics or something, and then it just fell apart. So I no longer had a job because my company was part of theirs and it folded. I had no choice. The thing is, I invented the course. Well, I added on so much to the course that I was teaching that everybody said, listen, change the name and just do it yourself. And I go, oh, okay. Never thought of that. So I did. But then I looked around. I figured, well, I need some money, to live. And one thing I'm always seem to be good at is making money. It sounds funny, but I just do it, and
incidentally, that luck flows down to the people around you as well.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I just want you to know that.
Well,
yes.
Many hundreds of millions of dollars for a lot of people in this world, in a lot of countries. Oh, no question of that. Anyways, so looking around as to what do I do now, I got invited to this party, as you say, this meeting group, and sure, why not? So I go there, and I meet Ken Dixon, and I said, "Oh, the Mind Institute. Whoa, you're famous." And he says, "Yeah, okay." And I said, "Huh. So what's happening?" "Well, actually, we're going to be closing." I said, "Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. You're famous. You set standards." And he says, "Yeah, but I'm running out of money." Oh, I said, well, we're supporting this man who drives in to heal people on Friday nights, and we're supporting, oh, he was giving his money away. And his classes weren't full, he had a few people in each class. So I said to him, well, Ken, if you can last 3 more months, I'd like to become a consultant at your place. And, well, I can't afford to pay you. I said, no, you don't understand. I said, I'll take half the profits. No, he says, there's no profits. I said, then there shouldn't be any problem. So over the next 3 months, we got cleared the place, stopped giving out money.
Yeah.
And then we made, I think, if I remember correctly, 15,000 in those 3 months.
That was a lot of bread in 1975.
That was a lot of money. And I took my half.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm leaving now. I guess that's our deal. I never break my word. If I do, it's because I'm not aware I'm doing it. So he said, oh, no. He says, you can't do that. I said, what do you wait? No, I said 3 months. Yeah, he says, but what am I going to do? I said, I don't know. I helped you. I made some money. You made money. Everybody's happy. Oh, yeah. He says, it's not the point. He says, I can't run this by myself. I said, yeah, but you see, I don't work for people. I have trouble working for people. I like to be an entrepreneur, or whatever they call it when you work for yourself. And he says, okay, then you take over the Mine Institute and I'll stay on as a teacher, because he was good at teaching. And I said, yeah, but our 50-50 deal doesn't continue. And he's, no, it's yours. I said, oh, okay. So we refinanced the place. I introduced a couple of classes, integral growth. I did the whole series of things that now we called New Age Centers. Monday night would be course extensions, and bring your friends if they want to hear about what you just took. Tuesday night was you, all the psychics, I call them, intuitive people. Wednesday night was my weird night. And people say, why do you call it weird night? I said, because I don't know what else to call it. And everybody said, that's weird. And I go, yeah.
What did you do on Weird Night?
Well, there was no, and this was advertised this way, there was no subject. There was only what I felt like talking about. And that's not 100% always that way, but 90%, 95%, there were no subjects. And every now and then somebody would say, well, can you talk about the subconscious mind? I said, yeah, but that's a whole series. Yeah. Well, yeah, duh. That's fine with us. I said, all right. So we had, I think, 7 weeks in a row, just the subconscious mind every time, but different aspects of your mind. And now I wrote a book on your silent partner, which is your subconscious mind.
Back in those days, no, the way you're saying it now is commonplace. The way you're describing it at this point in time is normal, everyday thinking.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that back.
Oh,
no, there was a reason it was called Weird Night. Because there was no subject off the table.
That's right.
And you just talked about it. Were you channeling that information?
I have no idea.
Did something ever, did your thinking change when that happened, when you were doing that?
No,
It was just you thinking.
Just me blabbing,
Sure. Okay.
You know that. No, what did happen, now that you mention it, I don't know. That's why I'm hesitating, but not.
Sure.
But watch. It just seemed like I should talk about scooters, or it just seemed like I should talk about this, that, and the other. And what it turned out a year or two into it, people very close to me finally said, you sure you don't know what's going on here? I said, what do you mean? Oh, we bring people, always had 100 people, 150 people there every single week, rain, storm, anything. And he said, well, how we get them here is we say, this guy is psychic and he doesn't know it. And I go, yeah, right. Because I know you, and compared to you, I ain't psychic. Believe me, even saying I'm not is stupid because that would imply that I could change. No, the thing is, they said, think of a question that you'd like this guy's opinion on. And he's knowledgeable, well-traveled, he's all that. So, but don't ask the question. And I look at, what do you mean? What are you saying? Well, no, what would happen, not always, but most of the time, is in your ramble for the first hour, you would answer their questions, because then we'd take a break and then I'd open it up for questions. And there were almost never any questions. Now you know why. I said, oh, damn. Whoops.
Now, Weird Night was your thing that you did just because you wanted to do that.
Totally.
And while it was significant and it did bring in people, it was for you it was kind of almost like an afterthought. It wasn't your main commitment. You were just you were just exercising your brain, right?
It's like taking a break in the work time. When you get a break? Well, my break was Wednesday nights with no agenda, nothing,
just express.
And that to me was good enough. The rest was work.
I'm really curious. There was one time, I'm not quite sure how it happened, but you summoned me in some way. I don't know if you called or somebody called, and I showed up and you wanted me to do a reading for you, and I did. And then you asked me, would I like to come and work at the place? And I became, I think I was like the resident psychic. I was the only one that had an office. And so that was where I started getting more polished. Where did you get the idea to bring in other types of ways of thinking, rather than just stick with the mind awareness thing or the mind dynamics thing? Where did that come? It was sideshow. Where did you come up with the idea of getting sideshows?
I
thought of it.
Yeah, you need, it's a business, in a good sense. And so you have to have money coming in, you have to have advertising, you have to all that. That's why the class was 2 weekends. Mm-hmm. Okay. And, oh yeah, this I want to say, because I'm pleased with this one. Out of 42,000 some odd people, we only had 3 refunds.
Really? That's profound.
And some people came in for free because they had no money, but I told them, don't tell anybody.
Right.
Everybody magically have no money. But the thing is, the graduates were offered 1 night a week for 4 weeks, where they can come, ask questions about the course, and or report, like an Alcoholics Anonymous. You open the door, but only to the grads. And while you're coming here anyways to do that on Monday night, bring a friend. Then they'll know, because we'll have another session introducing the course to them. And that was our recruiting.
So what was Mind Dynamics? That course, that would be at first your bread and butter, wasn't it? That was your, okay. So what the hell did you do?
Well, I was a sales trainer.
Okay.
For that cosmetic company.
Right.
Okay. And they introduced this Mind Dynamics as another way to make money, I guess, or whatever. And I figured, oh, that's interesting. I'll take that class. What the heck? And they promised all sorts of silly things.
Like what?
Well, psychic.
That. And
your levels and meditating, this, that, and the other. And I figured, yeah, it's not going to hurt me. Yes. And curious. That's I guaranteed one thing in life. I am curious. So I figured, yeah, take the class. So I take the class. I forget. I think it was Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, something like that. Yeah, because by Sunday, how the class works is you have 4 brain waves in you. Beta, alpha, theta, delta is the official names for them. And the beta is what we're doing now. Alpha is when you're psychic, intuitive, like that. Theta is when you're in a coma, deep sleep, repairing your body, your mind, whatever. And delta is you're alive. You're throbbing, I guess, boop, boop, like that. So what it started with a Swiss physicist in the 20s who discovered that there's 4 brainwaves, significant. I mean, there's lots more, but 4 significant ones. And Jose Silva in Mind Control was teaching his children how to go to their levels, it's called, the different levels of mind. And one time when he was teaching, one of his children said, "Oh, grandma's dead, just died." And he went, "Right." That's nice. I mean, what do you tell a child who's telling you that? Stop fantasizing, don't be silly. You certainly don't say, "Oh, you must be psychic." So it turns out that's exactly what happened, and exactly at the time that the kid said so. So all of a sudden, Jose Silva realized that he had something that could prove that this stuff was there and working. And he invented mind control. Well, one of his teachers took his training class to be an instructor, and within a year or 2, I forget, he had improved, well, his opinion of improving, he had improved it, added stuff to it, and basically called it mind dynamics instead of mind control, the dynamics of the mind. And that's the course I took. So here I am, and I think, hey, everybody likes sabotage, everybody likes the BS and all that stuff, but what else am I doing this weekend? So I take the class, and at the very end of the class, okay, now you're going to go to your levels, the alpha, and we'll see how it works for you. And I don't need this. But I mean, I'm there. So you pair 2 guys or 2 people, guy and girl, next to each other, facing each other. And one of them says, "Okay, take a deep breath and find a comfortable position and exhale. And as you exhale, relax." And I'm going, we don't have to do this. Just read the name out or whatever it is you're supposed to do. And he said, "Just do it." All right. So I took a deep breath and exhaled and relaxed. And then he said, "Find the form of John Wayne." And I opened my eyes. I said, "That's an actor." And he looked at me and said, "Close your eyes and just do it." So I closed my eyes and now take his head. So I go like this with my eyes closed, and I'm now supposedly holding the head of John Wayne. Yay. Then he said, "Okay, now go to the torso." So I said, "Oh, right, the body." So I go down, and I was like this, because here there was a lung, but here, so that'd be his left, whatever, it was dark. It was either gone or sick or something. So I said, "Well, I can see one lung, but I can't see the other one." He said, "That is correct." I opened my eyes. I said, "What?" He said, "Close your eyes." I said, "Sorry." Now, the thing, fine. Okay, I'm out. He says, "John Wayne has cancer in his lung."
Wow.
Clearly saw it. Yeah, show me that card, because we had little cards. that they
Yeah.
handed at the very end, right? So I took the card. It's John Wayne, cancer in lung. I said, oh my goodness, I'm rich. Because, no, not me, because I could teach something, promise the impossible, and actually have it work in those days, right?
Of course. Of course. This is all new.
That's right. So
Wow.
I did mind dynamics. I ended it all across Canada,
Yep.
some parts of the States, all that. And then I was advised by a do we get into Michael Blake Reed or not? You know,
Oh, absolutely.
to say. So I was advised by somebody I validated as being a trance medium, and there were some before him, but no, he was the one. Anyways, and they said you should call it mind awareness, and I went, okay. So I did call it mind awareness, and because I had done so much work in the background and all that, I had evolved also into, oh, we can put this in the class, it'll be better, this will be better. We shouldn't phrase that way, and phrase it in different ways, easier for people to catch on and all that. So I effectively reinvented the class.
At the end of each class, it was a very big celebration on Sunday, and graduates and people that were members of I can't remember.
New Age Center.
Yeah, whatever. It was so many names, right? The New Age Center, Mind Awareness. Its members came to celebrate with the new grads. And then it was a beautiful building in a very, very nice place, part of Toronto. And it was at 223 St. Clair Avenue West.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful building in a really nice neighborhood. And all these weirdo kids coming in, long hair, in this beautiful building, talking about teaching and doing new age things. And you were only 30 when or 20, 31, 32 when that was happening. And George, that changed the way the new age people marketed themselves. Your influence had a big influence on psychics. You showed many that a standard that they could live. You helped them get decent money or feel secure enough to ask for a decent wage. And then you put on psychic fairs.
Yeah.
And I just want to brag a little bit, because a lot of the times I was one of the head. I was one of the main features.
Yeah.
That and a couple of times with I just forget this guy's name now. His real name was Vernon Craig, and his Komar, the guy that laid on the bed of nails. Vernon Craig, right? So we shared the headline in Calgary and Vancouver and Toronto a couple of times.
And he was for real.
Oh, I know. He set the world record for laying on a bed of nails, right? I set the world record for getting my ass off a bed of nails faster than anybody. I know that bed of nails.
Vern is anyways. Yeah, but Guinness Book of World Records, I think he's in.
Oh, many.
That
unbelievable amount. Still,
they're good. They check out.
Oh yes.
The Guinness Book is fairly accurate.
Oh yes. So you were putting on these fairs.
Yes.
And once again,
me and Alfred Ward and I.
Alfred Ward and the pyramid guy.
That's right.
Right. He was at the party too. So you started these fairs. Now I had a booth, of course, but it was the live performances that I was doing that had a huge impact.
Sure, definitely.
But other people learned so much and the way you did the fairs in those days, they're different now, but everybody had a booth had to give out information and teach.
That's right. That's right. And because I took graphic arts, fine arts, and commercial art,
Yep.
a couple of years for each type of art, that I could make a sign, a free lunch or whatever you want on it. And when we started the fairs, people didn't know to do that. I mean, I'm walking by your booth. What are you doing? You're sitting there. Well, that's nice. You don't look particularly nice, ma'am or mister, or you look old, or you look young, or you look fabulous, but that's all I'm getting from looking at you. So I would say to them, what would you like to say here? Oh, I don't have anything. I said, yeah, no. And I'd go in the back room and make a sign for them and put it up. So here was free readings, here was tarot, here was the something or other.
Yep.
And they all learned from that. And what was fun with the psychic fairs, and Alfred Ward thought I was crazy, but what I had to do, my entrance was $2, by the way, in those days. Just so you know, it's a
good price.
Yeah, for the Elvis Fair. The thing is, I had to give away 100. I forget what I calculated it. I think $120, definitely over 100, but not much more. As the 4 days or 3 days, whatever fair went on, and who I gave it to were refunds at the door. As they're walking out, I say, "Do you enjoy the fair?" Not really. And two of the people with that person said, "No, we did. I said, "But you didn't." No. So I took out $2 and I gave it back to them. Here's your entry receipt. Whoa. That's it. And I walked on. You see what I mean? It was hard to weigh $100.
One of the things that I've been known for is refunding money to people who have been dissatisfied. And I've talked about that for the last couple of years in the podcasts that I've been going on and on this one. And my people that have been following me, they're now going to know where I learned it from.
Oh, well. But, why?
But it's the right thing to do.
Thank you. Like I say, we only had 3 refunds in 42,000 students.
Yes.
However, you must understand, we had about 20 or 30 people asking for refunds.
Right.
Just before Christmas.
Yep.
So I wrote back, in those days it was writing. I wrote back, "Oh, I'm swamped until just after Christmas. Please write to me, remind me again after Christmas."
Yep.
In case I mislay your blah, blah, blah. Nobody ever did, because they were all trying to get their money for Christmas presents or had nothing to do except that they heard that I gave money back. So that's the real three people. They really were disappointed. And I said, "Here's your money." And I learned from them, which is far more relevant, and spread what I learned in our annual meetings. Anyways,
so you took Alexander Everett's baby.
That's right.
Program.
Yep.
Made it a success.
Oh yeah.
From the New Age Center or Mind Awareness here in Toronto. That was one. 2, you opened up the field toward the psychic field, doing the very first psychic fairs in Canada.
That's right.
You had your seminars going on, the sideshows, the different psychics and New Age stuff.
Right.
And then you did a couple other things. Let me see. There was spiritual weekend, physical weekend.
Yes.
Right. Harmony weekend.
Physical weekend. Harmony weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My goodness. Yeah, you featured a couple of those, didn't you?
Oh yes, I did. I did. There's a few, you know.
No, those. Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I didn't forget, but it's a long time since anybody's speaking about them.
Yes.
A lot of fun, a lot of interesting things because the people who came only paid $125.
Was that all it was?
Yeah, for Friday night, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Around
Did you know, I'm gonna here, this is gonna eat your guts out. Did you know that I never once paid for any programs at your stuff? Although I did it, but I got them all for free. But I worked them all, even the weekends.
Yeah, but
Oh,
you
okay.
call it,
But I was on the team, right?
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Call it free, but I call it. Here's this great guy who's going to wipe everybody out in 20 minutes and then say bye and leave. And he's calling that free. Well, you could have charged me, baby.
Oops. I wasn't that smart in those days. So you knew.
What's interesting about the weekends is
Yes.
We had a meal for them on Friday night. We
Yeah.
supplied Saturday morning lunch, breakfast, lunch, and supper, and on Sunday breakfast and lunch. Now, we used to take camps that were closed on those weekends.
Yep.
And give them $1,000 or whatever they asked for. But what we did is I had a bunch of volunteers cook the food and do everything. The volunteers paid to come to these things and volunteered. And then I knew the food will be good. If they're so committed, you see.
Yeah.
And then the life members, of course, if you took all 4 classes and all 4 weekends and Integro and the mind awareness, then from then on, for that person, everything's free, you know. And then we had a life members weekend. That was interesting. You want to talk about psychic? You want to talk about, oh my goodness.
Talk about it then.
Right. Well, I'll give you the simplest one, bending spoons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you take a spoon, was a, you
like Uri Geller did. Yep. A spoon. Yep.
And all you do is you go like this on it.
Right.
And then it bends.
Yes.
And wow, the restaurant on Yonge Street, just 2 blocks from our place.
It was Franz.
He hung a framed spoon bending 3 or 4 because everybody go in there and bend his spoons. Rather than say, "You son of a bitch, that's my property," he said, "This is spoon bending," and he took the best ones, twisted, all that. He says, "If you don't beat that, you pay for the spoon."
Right.
Okay. And people stopped. And he went, "I didn't want to give up the business, but I sure as heck didn't want all my spoons gone." The thing is, we're on one weekend. What's her name? A lady, nice lady, with her daughter came.
Sherry.
Yes. And
is that the one?
Yeah. And we're doing Sunday morning spoon bending.
Right.
Everybody had to bring their own spoon, and we'd trade spoons with each other to make sure nobody's taking anybody else's, stealing or foaming. All right. And I'm doing, I think it's me. Somebody's in the front doing this. All right, now take a deep breath, blah, blah, blah. She comes in, Sherry Bauer, yes. She comes in.
That's great.
Yeah, he comes back. So Sherry comes in late.
Yep.
And look, it must be me because I looked at her and I went, like, they're all trying to meditate and do the thing. And she goes, "Okay, got it." So she stayed in the back mostly because there were all tables and where we ate. All right. The thing is, there's no spoon for her. Are you ready? I swear, absolutely no question about it. she took a hairbrush. Do you understand how big the handle is in your hairbrush?
Yeah.
And she thought, yeah, we're here to do this. So she did with the handle, and she's barely a teenager. She did with the handle of a brush, she pulled it and twisted it.
Yep.
No strength to do that. You just
Without it cracking or breaking. Yeah.
it would crack. It would do
Right.
something. So when some people say, "Oh, this doesn't work," and others got it, and it wasn't always 100%. And finally, she comes up to me and she says, "I think I ruined somebody's brush." Oh, come back! I'll turn around and come back. I said, "For those of you who can't do it, I hold up the brush." That's like insane. Like,
Yeah.
and they all went, "Okay, so it's just me that can't do it because obviously it can be done." Well, duh. So that was one of the more interesting episodes.
In thinking back, you mentioned that I had been involved in a couple of the weekends. There was one we had done I think the Calgary Psychic Fair, and then we were doing well, you were doing it, but I was part of it, the retreat, and it was at Sylvan Lake at the Girl Guide camp.
That's right.
Remember that? Okay. So I was a hot shot right after the psychic fair, best time out. And I was really doing great stuff with the audience. And then it was my turn at the spiritual weekend to entertain the Western group. Would you tell the people what happened to me, George? Because I don't think I can tell about it without crying.
I'll tell it by starting with an
analogy. Yeah.
Okay. In one of the weekends, we were on Gabriola Island, I think, so further than Vancouver, and we had guaranteed the people there touched the piano. It was a fabulous piano. But my people who got there before me, because I had to fly in, all that, they took the piano, and there was a huge, think of White Rock, there was a huge rock in front of the place, and they were going to put the piano on top of the rock. So when one of the people who could play the piano would play it, everybody would hear it. And be like, except that we said that we wouldn't touch the piano. Now, here I am, and I'm walking, trails and all that, and I see them starting to move the piano. And I go, whoa. So I start running towards them to get there to say, hey, don't do that. Gave my word. Well, I wasn't going to make it. So I ran faster. And it still wasn't going to make it. It's pretty obvious, And then I said, to heck with it. And I then ran faster still. I had never run that fast ever. And I fell and scraped my knee.
Mm-hmm.
But I was astounded at how I've been holding myself back because I can always run that fast. Well, a little less fast than falling, but twice as fast as I normally did. This is you. You come, you give readings. People love you. This, you know that. I know that. I mean, come on. So you're at this weekend.
Yep.
And you fail completely.
Oh.
I mean, seriously, I was quite, I didn't even know what, I wasn't surprised, although I sure as hell was, but because you just don't fail, finish. And
it was devastating.
Well, it was not for me.
For me, it was a nightmare. Like everything I said was wrong. Not a little bit, everything.
Right.
Oh, it was terrible. In front of all these people that are expecting like big time stuff from this, big shot from the East. And I just did an alley-oop nose first. Oh,
Okay, let me
Yeah.
over. Let me take
Yep.
over.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
What did you do the next day?
Well, I came back and knocked it out of the park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it
Yeah,
was devastating.
it was.
Oh, thank you. Now you know
Just-
that you can go right up to total failure or
Yes.
devastation
Yes.
and get up the next day and keep it going.
It was one of the most profound lessons of my life.
Like me running so fast.
So fast.
Never,
That's
hey,
right.
to do karate. I was in the
That's
police.
right.
All these things. I knew how to run. I knew everything. And yet I never ran that fast. And you never fail that much.
It was now what it also gave me though was real live proof what something feels like when it's wrong.
Oh, good for you.
That was also so valuable, George.
Sure, sure.
And in order to have had that, I have to have it at an extreme.
Yes. Well, yes.
That's right.
You and me
So,
both. I mean,
so
I felt so many times it's ridiculous. Who cares?
yes.
But if it's extreme, then you say, okay, how important is this to you? Interesting.
I'm astonished at how quickly the time has gone, and we have just scratched the surface. George, you're going to have to come back. It's fun reliving these things, but there's other parts of your life that are even more profound than those early ones. And I'd like you to come back and talk about that. You're still kind of in the growth business, and you have a hobby and a really good one, and it's called mental doodles.
Oh, my mental doodles.
Yeah, there's mental doodles, right. What are mental doodles?
I'll give you an instant thing.
Yes.
If you get Lego,
Mhm.
you can build all sorts of things with Lego,
Yes.
or not. If you need help, my wife is a genius at this. She would not teach the children. She would provide a scaffold where they could learn and therefore build bigger learnings, bigger buildings, or whatever you call it, because of the scaffold. But what's the use of a scaffold? It doesn't tell you what to do. And it leaves the second it's not needed. So all you have is your results. With this 50 years of my wife, I mean, don't anything. I mean, we yelled at each other every now and then, but just to keep in practice.
I had heard of those practice sessions, but I also knew about the makeup ones were far more.
They were interesting. So sometimes we wondered if we had the session just so that we could make up. The thing is, I realized with my mental doodles that they have to be worded in a certain way that it can be seen from multiple points of view for the same doodle.
Right.
And I wanted to make it available for free to people and all that. So I did one a week. And after a year or something, I started publishing it. So it's mentaldoodle.com, what I original name. And don't laugh at my picture, please. Oh, wait. Don't laugh at my picture, please. So I haven't upgraded the picture. I don't care. But the thing is, if you want to solve a problem, you go to the site, you think of the problem you want to solve, you choose which category, you'll see it on the side, choose which category your problem falls into, press the category, you'll get all the doodles that are that category. Choose one, use your intuition, choose one, and read it. And see how that applies to solve your problem. People, I have no idea how many emails I get. How do you do that? I go back, I return, I don't, you do. Because you're doing it, not me.
George.
It's 500 doodles on the website. That's enough for people to to go through,
We'll be posting that on the promo for the show, and people will be able to log on to your Mental Doodle site. If you would like, we can put your email up and they can contact you directly as well. Nope. Okay, you're safe on that one.
That'd be too many.
So that kind of brings us to an end of this show. It has been an absolutely delightful experience, George. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Well, we're at the end of another really fast-paced, interesting, inspiring, motivating show. I'd like to thank my friend, George Raynault, for coming on, talking about the good old days and how things all started. Now, before I say goodbye, though, I've just got a couple of requests. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, say something. That gives us a lot of attention, and we get higher ratings. And ratings help. And then subscribe to our channels, and subscriptions are free. So please just join us. Once again, it'll help us get higher ratings. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere that podcasts are shown. And if you want to get in touch with me personally, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Yep, we're doing that one now. And I'm still, by the way, doing readings and life coaching. Also, you can find me on my website, www.robertlindsymilne.com. And now this brings us to the end, except please remember, do good, stay safe, and above all, just be kind. Good night, everybody.